Hey everyone, I'm Melissa Taylor,
I'm Sava Munong Badimi.
and we are so excited to present to you Friendr, which is our adoptions matchmaking system, which is fueled by behavior science and machine learning. Our story starts with Nala, who on Christmas Eve of 2023 found herself wandering at the side of a busy road. She was cold and wet from the rain when an animal lover happened to stop by and pulled over, and she hopped into their car. Suddenly, Nala found herself enrolled in an animal shelter like 5.8 million other animals did in 2024. It turned out that Nala was an amazing dog. She was super friendly, she was great with dogs, she loved kids. You would think that she would sail through the shelter system. But in reality, her size and her age and her appearance put her at great risk in this system where 748,000 animals don't make it out alive. Nala's very life and the lives of all the 5.8 million sheltered animals dependent on somebody to hack this broken problem. If a dog like Nala can't succeed, then it's not Nala that's broken, it's the system that's broken. But how did we get here where such loss of life is a foregone conclusion? Shelters nationwide are at capacity. That means that they are bringing in so many animals that they can't adopt them out fast enough. And it costs money to house these animals and care for them. So how are animal shelters working to combat this problem? Let's look at the four largest shelters in the greater Houston area. How do they try to attract more adopters? Well, since consumer preferences now overwhelmingly favor making big decisions independently, you'll find listings of animals online. So like these that we're showing in the slide here. And each of them has some cute photos, and it has data like the age and the size and maybe the breed. And you would think that those factors are pretty important in making a decision about adoption. Well, you'd be wrong, because when adopters make decisions, taking home a pet based on the breed or age and so on, those characteristics are related to lower chances of adopter satisfaction and increased chances of animals coming back to the shelter. What drives successful adoption are deeper metrics like the behavior of the animal. What are they really like? Luckily for Nala, she ended up in a shelter where data is prioritized. We looked at what factors drove successful adoptions and consumer preferences, and we came up with a solution. We put together an adoption matching app called Friendr, which is kind of like an online dating app, but for four-legged. So it takes into account adopter preferences and prioritizes those preferences. Is this dog good with dogs, cats, or kids? How much energy do they have? How affectionate are they? Those are things that are super important for adopters, and they help keep animals in happy homes. So we launched in 2024, and so far we've seen some great results. So far this year, we have seen that 48% of our adopters have used Friendr, and about a quarter of all adoptions were driven by Friendr, as reported by the adopters. And 25% more adoptions happened, which is the big, big game. So Friendr was a huge success for Friends for Life. And we realized that the problem wasn't just a Friends for Life problem. It's something that touched so many other shelters. Think about those four largest shelters in Houston. Bark alone intakes more than 20,000 animals every year. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could touch the lives of those animals with Friendr? And that's where Sama and our glorious team from the Houston Hackathon come to play.
Given the scale of the problem, we needed a software solution. And Friendr is that exact solution because it taps into existing database shelter data using behavioral science to match potential adopters with the animal most likely to be a successful match in the long run. And that is manifested through a proven behavioral science framework training, an algorithm phrase matching tool, and a nice user interface that is easy to use. And on top of that, we intend for it to be a management application for the shelter staff. Here's a short example and demo of how the behavioral science can be applied as a quiz to take our potential adopters through a series of questions that help them progressively refine until they can find the most likely potential match for them.
As you can see, it's a pretty simple process. It only takes a couple minutes. The adopter puts their preferences, they select them, and they can also select how important each preference is. To bring our dream of Friendr to life, we seek $200,000 in seed funding, the bulk of which is $54,000 for product development, which we sought some quotes on, so we got some pretty good estimates. And we're also looking for some funds for talent acquisition. So these folks would be responsible for onboarding for other shelters and training them to get the data into the system because the app only functions as well as the data that's put into it.
Our team Friendr is comprised of an animal shelter director, an animal behavior specialist, a project manager, a marketing and campaign strategist, a UI UX researcher, a full stack developer, and two Master of Science data science students. And this combination of skills was necessary because we needed to design and create the Friendr system in a way that makes it robust and that actually leverages the modern machine learning techniques to modernize the adoption process.
So I want to take this time, Saba, to thank you and the rest of our passionate and talented Friendr team because you heard us present now this problem. This problem has long been considered unsolvable in the shelter industry. These lives, Nala's life is considered unsavable, but you still believed.
Thank you so much for making us part of the team, and us and all of the people involved were very excited to solve this problem.